Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Before continuing, please review the legal disclaimer provided in the comments section of this video and make sure to see the video till the end to get a full understanding of how it all works. On this channel, we share practical guidance on visa processes, immigration pathways, investment and citizenship options, and related topics to help you make informed decisions. If you are unsure about your visa options or planning your next step, consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you stay updated with the latest developments. Right now, across the world, people are searching for something very simple but very powerful, a place where they can reset their life, a place with stability, a place with freedom, a place where they can start again, invest, or secure a second nationality. And in the middle of all these global options, one small Pacific nation keeps appearing in conversations far more than most people expect. Vanuatu, a country made up of islands in the South Pacific, known for its natural beauty, simple governance structure, and one of the fastest residency and citizenship frameworks in the world. But here is where things get interesting. Most people misunderstand Vanuatu completely. They think there is only one pathway, but in reality, there are multiple residence and citizenship routes, each designed for different types of people: investors, entrepreneurs, long-term residents, and global mobility seekers. So in this video, we are breaking down the complete picture of Vanuatu residence visa pathways in 2026. How they work, who they are for, what they cost, and what life actually looks like after you get access. And stay until the end because the final section reveals something most people only discover after they apply. Let's begin. First, you need to understand the foundation. Vanuatu is not a traditional immigration country like Australia or New Zealand. There is no complex point system for most pathways. Instead, Vanuatu focuses on two core ideas: investment-based entry and simplified long-term residency or citizenship access. That is the entire system in one sentence. Now let's break down the first major pathway: the citizenship by investment route. This is the most well-known option globally, and often the entry point people hear about first. It is designed for individuals or families who want direct citizenship through a financial contribution. The process is structured around a government-approved program where applicants contribute to national development in exchange for citizenship approval. There are no language tests, no long residency requirements, no mandatory relocation before approval, and no complex integration exams. Instead, the process focuses on documentation, background checks, and financial eligibility. Applicants typically go through a due diligence process that checks identity, financial background, and legal history before approval. Once approved, citizenship is granted after final formalities. And one of the biggest reasons this pathway is popular is speed. In many cases, the entire process can be completed in a matter of weeks to a few months, depending on documentation readiness and processing cycles. Now let's talk about the investment structure itself. The contribution is usually a government donation or approved investment amount starting from a baseline level that increases depending on family size. There are also additional fees such as processing, due diligence checks, and administrative costs. But the key idea is simple. You are exchanging capital contribution for citizenship access. And this immediately leads to the second pathway, which is where many people get confused: permanent residency style access through investment. While Vanuatu is best known for citizenship programs, there's also a residence-based pathway linked to property investment. This route is designed for people who want to physically live in Vanuatu or maintain long-term residency status without immediately becoming citizens. To qualify, applicants generally need to invest in approved real estate or development projects within designated areas. Once approved, they are granted residency rights that allow them to live in the country, establish local presence, and integrate into the economic system. This is not just symbolic residency, it is functional residency, meaning you can live, operate, and build a life within Vanuatu under the approved framework. However, this pathway is very different from citizenship. Residency does not automatically grant a passport, and that is a key distinction many applicants overlook. Now let's slow down and talk about something important. Why would someone choose Vanuatu residency at all? Because for a certain type of person, it is not about relocation. It is about strategic positioning. People use this pathway for tax planning structures, global mobility planning, backup residency options, asset diversification, lifestyle experimentation, or long-term relocation preparation. And this brings us to a deeper layer. Vanuatu is not competing with major global cities. It is offering something different: flexibility. Now let's talk about eligibility requirements. One of the most attractive features of Vanuatu pathways is simplicity. Most applicants must be adults, typically over 18 years old. They must have a clean criminal record. They must pass due diligence checks, and they must provide proof of funds and identity documentation. That is essentially the core requirement structure. There are no complex education requirements, no language requirements, no job offer requirements, no prior residency requirement in most cases. And this simplicity is exactly why the system is attractive to global applicants. Now let's talk about documentation, because this is where most delays happen. Applicants typically need valid passport identity documents, birth certificates, police clearance certificates, financial records, proof of lawful funds, medical clearance in some cases, and supporting family documents if applying together. The more organized the documentation, the faster the process. Now let's shift into something very important. What happens after approval? Because this is where reality begins. If you obtain citizenship through investment, you gain full legal nationality status. That means you can hold a passport, travel internationally according to visa agreements, and maintain dual citizenship if your home country allows it. If you obtain residency instead, you gain the right to live in Vanuatu under the conditions of your permit. You can reside, operate, and integrate, but you are still under residency status rather than full nationality. Now let's talk about lifestyle reality, because Vanuatu is not a high-rise financial hub. It is a small island nation with a slower pace of life. Nature dominates daily living. Community is close-knit. Infrastructure is simpler than major global cities, and the lifestyle is heavily shaped by geography. This is not a place for fast-paced corporate environments. It is a place for simplicity, nature, and intentional living. Now here comes something many applicants underestimate. Infrastructure and services are not comparable to developed metropolitan economies. So while the legal pathways are fast and flexible, lifestyle adjustment is a real factor. And that leads us to a very important question. Who is Vanuatu residency actually for? It is generally suitable for global investors seeking diversification, people wanting second residency options, entrepreneurs building international structures, individuals seeking lifestyle change, families exploring relocation alternatives, and mobility-focused professionals. It is not typically designed for people seeking large-scale job markets or corporate employment ecosystems. Now let's talk about investment expectations in a realistic way. Costs vary depending on pathway type. Citizenship routes involve government contributions and processing fees. Residency routes involve property or approved investment thresholds. In both cases, additional costs include legal processing, due diligence, and administrative fees. and these combined create the total real cost of entry. Now, here is where things become strategic. Many applicants do not choose between residency and citizenship randomly. They choose based on long-term intention. If the goal is global mobility and a second passport, citizenship becomes the focus. If the goal is physical presence and lifestyle planning, residency becomes more relevant. This is where clarity matters, because choosing the wrong pathway for your objective leads to disappointment later. Now let's talk about something rarely discussed: the geopolitical and administrative nature of small nation programs. Small nations like Vanuatu often design investment-based residency and citizenship frameworks to support national development, infrastructure funding, and economic diversification. In return, applicants gain access to simplified entry pathways. It is a mutual benefit structure. Now let's talk about processing experience. One of the strongest selling points of Vanuatu pathways is speed. Compared to traditional immigration systems that can take years, Vanuatu processes are significantly faster. This speed is one of the key reasons global demand has increased, but speed does not remove due diligence. Background verification is still an essential part of the process, and applications with incomplete documentation can face delays. Now, let's talk about something critical: common mistakes applicants make. First mistake: assuming residency automatically leads to citizenship. Second mistake: underestimating total costs beyond headline numbers. Third mistake: submitting incomplete financial documentation. Fourth mistake: not understanding tax implications in their home country. Fifth mistake: choosing a pathway without understanding long-term goals. And this is where most failures occur, not in approval, but in misalignment. Now let's move into the future outlook. Vanuatu, like many small nations, continues to refine its immigration and investment frameworks. Global demand for mobility solutions is increasing, and governments are balancing economic opportunity with regulatory compliance. This means systems are becoming more structured over time, not less, which makes early understanding even more important. Now here is the final message. Vanuatu residence and citizenship pathways are not just legal processes. They are strategic life tools, used for mobility, used for security, used for planning, used for diversification, but they only work when aligned with the right expectations. Because at the end of the day, the real question is not just how to get residency. The real question is what kind of global life you want to build, and whether Vanuatu fits into that picture in a meaningful way.